Hello and welcome to another recording and showcase of my BOE 2 beta characters that I've been running. And this is my current mapper, and we're playing Titan. I really like Titan. Titans has been just so much fun. So we are a Titan again. This is actually the Living Bomb Titan. I was liking that character a lot, but I wanted to try out some new things. The Living Bomb kind of bothered me with the single target was kind of terrible. Which has actually kind of been a problem with a lot of these builds, is that I have really good clear on a lot of them, but I seem to be lacking single target. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do for a single target in a lot of these. Partially also in this build. So this one instead, I took my Warbringer Archer apart and stole stuff like my Hands of Wisdom and Action from it. Also, from the other character, we took the Warrior Invictus, which is mostly here for just all of that resistance, which makes resistance easy for this character. And then we're doing Bushwhack, so my physical damage is pinning. And we are converting all of our lightning damage from the gloves, mainly, into cold damage. And we're having Circle, whatever, however you want to call that ring. And we're chilling shatters as though frozen. So the usual Herald of Ice tech. It's a Herald of Ice build. And then I have Serpent's Egg for generating additional charges. And then I have a decent bow and a decent quiver and whatever. To fill over the other slots. And the skill we are using is actually a Spiral Volley. So I'm using Spiral Volley as my main skill. Going spin. And it chains once per energy charge consumed, and also has more damage and more damage per energy charge. Frenzy charge. And we're doing frenzy charges with Combat Frenzy, which gives us a frenzy charge when you freeze, electrocute, or pin. So pin is where these come in, so that all of my physical damage is pinning. And Spiral Volley itself is actually fully whatever your weapon has damage, basically, which we have a pure physical bow. Although we do get that big portion of cold, well, first lightning, then turned into cold from this. So we do actually have... I need to move a little bit. There. And we can see that we actually do mostly physical. We do some cold and some lightning. The portion of the lightning and cold also comes from here, because I do have both the Essence of Storm and the Essence of Mountain, which gives us extra cold and extra lightning. So we do have, even with the ring converting, you still get that additional lightning, I guess, at the top of... at the end when that all happens. But yeah, we have a little bit of everything. So this gives us a shock, this gives us a chill, freeze, Herald of Ice explosions. I could probably slap actually Herald of Thunder in this. I haven't really even thought about it. I've been using Wind Dancer for extra evasion, but Herald of Thunder would totally fit in this. And then you could do the whole thing with the Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, triggering each other for chain explosions. But I don't know if I have enough damage for that. But just adding Herald of Thunder in here would actually probably be not the worst thing. The Wind Dancer is not doing much. It's a little bit of evasion. And we are doing evasion energy shield, which is why we are here. Because I was trying to grab these nodes earlier for armor evasion. And then there's other armor evasion stuff in here. And in general, like here, there's armor evasion thing. But it is the problem that you just don't have HP, basically. You have some life, and that's it. But that extra 1000 energy shield, which actually is pretty low for an energy shield right there. But it gives me an extra almost 50%, so a single hit will not take me. Because big hits are what kills this, mostly. It's not the small hits, especially if you have the armor evasion. You do avoid all the tiny nibbling, and the armor takes care of that. and then you take one big hit and you just explode, which you don't get when you have, well, you just still explode from some of the big hits, but having the extra energy shield, because life scaling is just not possible in most builds, thanks to not having life on 3, and there is just a limit how much you can have it on gear, especially when you're doing something nonsense like this, and none of this really has any life. I have some life on that one. That might be my only piece that has life, and the belt, of course. So I can't really build up a ton of life either, thanks to all of this. Although you could probably gear this differently. Although these are massive damage improvement, as with every attack build currently in the game. And I need these to enable the huge bonus for the Spiral Volley. I'm also using a Barrage to boost my attacks, which also works with Frenzy Charges. So there is a double dip on these with that. I need to actually quality this a little bit more. And then actually my single target ability, I tried Snipe, and it's actually pretty powerful. I don't like Snipe. I don't like the mechanic of having to hold it and then release it at the time. I mess it up way too much, and then it doesn't do anything. So I'm actually using actual just basic bow shot as my single target. It has a pretty high damage, and it gives you free 5 sockets, basically 6 link because of your level. So I don't need to actually link that. I don't have the links on these because I just can't currently afford on this build. And then I'm thinking of Stormcaller Arrow, but I have some ideas for that. But yeah, let's just go. This is a tier 15 map +1 monster level and some random shit, like 360%.
Warriors far greater than you ever will be.
Waystone gainer. So this is how you play the build. You just run around and you spin, and everything dies. And sometimes they even explode. And this is my current mapper. I just wanted some comfy mapper that I can just run around through maps, press button, and stuff just dies. And as you can see, those arrows you shoot everywhere do quite nicely clear stuff for you. And this has been a very nice build. I also have quite a bit of, not as much as I want, but the arrows do also chain from terrain. I wanted to have higher, and I actually originally had way higher chance for that, but I couldn't really justify pathing to all of that as much as I did, so I had to give up some of that, and also some of the jewel sockets that I used to gain it as well, because I just had to get some survivability and damage, and if I could build those a little bit differently, I would definitely go back to having more chain. If the chain support itself wasn't so terrible, I would actually have the actual chain linked to my skill, but losing half of your damage is pretty terrible. Also, evasive enemies are the bane of my existence. Like, they are really annoying to kill with this, as you have to try to shoot
Fortune favors me
on those. And I'm actually kind of trying to avoid evasive maps because of that. But you could also fix that by adding more accuracy, which I haven't really focused on that. But I'm not sure where to pick up the points and pick up the investment on that. But it would probably help. But I mean, it's just you can't be perfect against everything, right? Unless you're playing some really good builds that are scaling the same thing, like Sparks or whatever. But I don't really need that. But yeah, tiny bit of evasion would be nice. A little more survivability would be nice. A little more damage would be nice. And then quality of life stuff like the chains and things. I also tried Pierce, and I wasn't really big into Pierce. Mainly because there's so many projectiles anyways, you don't really need the Pierce. Another armored evasive enemy. The perfect perfect enemies against me. I think this map actually had some extra modifiers on those, so it's like always evasive, always the things that exactly ruin your build. But I mean, even that, it was armored and evasive, which works. I mean, it shows that armor on even on enemies is kind of useless against your physical damage. But then the evasive is really rough with the bow shots. But I mean, it dies just fine. I mean, this is basically tier 16 map with as much exalted modes as possible. It's not corrupted or anything. Like, it could definitely be harder. But like, I mean, this just clears nicely these T16, tier 15 maps for me. The problem is still the single target that I'm trying to fix. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. If you have any ideas how to fix a bow single target, and I really don't want to do the lightning rod Orb of Storm, if there's any other options, I mean that works, but I would rather try to do something else. If you have any ideas how to fix that problem, I'm all ears. If there is some arrow skill, maybe that's good for it. I mean, I could even think about weapon swap into a crossbow if there is a good crossbow skill for single target. That's not plasma shot. Because it kind of has the same... Well, it doesn't really have the same problem as snipe. But the snipe, you have the time. Plasma shot, you just need to charge. Although I do like the plasma shot quite a bit. If it didn't have that 2-second charge of time, and you could actually scale it with attack speed, I would love that. But it'd probably be too powerful in that case. I think plasma shot in general has a little... I think how it's built is it's kind of built into a corner because of the massive same with Hammer of Gods. That massive damage modifier is limiting the usability of ailments and all kinds of things. So I don't know. I would like it to be faster to shoot basically, and not have to stand there for 2 hours trying to charge off my laser. Alright, we have one elite. Where did I... Somewhere down there we lost an elite. Do we have a... I don't know. Have a waypoint. I guess we'll just have to run there. Where did I miss it? Is it all the way to the left side there? It probably is all the way to the left side there. But yeah, this is basically my... Oh, it's in the middle of where we have already ran through. Also, that one is actually kind of annoying. I have my spin spiral shot on my left click. As I'll just like to use that as my main attack. In PoE 1 I actually put my main attack in Q because I'm clicking around and it's easier to press Q or any of these buttons as my main attack. And I don't actually put my main attack on my mouse buttons at all. I only put my movement ability on my mouse. So it's basically mouse is basically for moving and blinking or whatever in PoE 1 for me, and I use a keyboard for my... oh, it was one of the statues. Another evasive. Great. Well. Shoot the until it decides to die. There we go. But in PoE 1, PoE 2, sorry, because I'm using the WASD movement, I'm not really fan of putting abilities on the Q, whatever, and I'm actually using mouse button buttons instead in this one. So I'm using a left, right, and a third button, and I probably could put a fourth button as well in there. But yeah, it's sometimes really hard to click something that's on the floor because it just keeps doing spiral shot because the targeting is kind of weird. It's kind of odd. But anyway, this is my build for the mapping my Titan Spiral Volley, and it's actually really fun. I do like the skill a lot. So I could actually slap that Herald of Thunder, I guess. I do have the dex and intelligence and everything in here, so I'm actually gonna slap that right in there, turn off that, and turn on this. And then we need some things. We could probably steal these from the lightning massacre. Yeah, at least those. But anyway, I'll have to keep that to go, and I think this will help a little bit on doing damage and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I like this build a lot, and I definitely want to build. Focus on this a little more, but I also have an idea that I want to try out with the Titan. I just love Titan. Titan is so great. This thing, with increased effect of small passives. It's just so much fun. You can do any of the builds that you could always otherwise do, but you just get more of the small nodes, and a lot of the small nodes are great. Like getting the this thing here, for example, the quiver stuff. So normally you get a decent bonus from this, but I get an extra 50, which nicely turns, for example, this +2 projectile from the quiver into +4, and it's really, really powerful. And same with like the duration scaling, the cooldown scaling, and a lot of the scaling stuff just works so much nicer with this AoE scaling. Actually, that is the best fun about this the AoE scaling. And one thing I actually would like to do with this, and I'm like depending, like, do I take apart this build, which is my current only mapper that's kinda in piece, in proper shape. I guess my Bone Storm is still workable as well, but this one works just so much better. Or do I just level up another Titan? But I'm not sure if I really want to level up another Titan. So what I'm actually wanting to do with this and try out is the Stormcaller Arrow. And I'm thinking this could be fun. So what Stormcaller Arrow does is it shoots an arrow, and then it explodes like that. And it's actually kind of fast to shoot. I don't really even have that much on this. And we can do like a scatter shot on that for a clear, and maybe take the scatter shot off for bosses. And then this would give us overlapping explosions with the arrows. And we can put the fast forward on it, because this has a 1.5 second arrow duration. The arrow itself is not very high damage, but the bolt is actually pretty damn high damage with my plus levels compared to like Spiral Volley, which is only 251% that I'm using currently as my clearer. And this is a 585, almost 600. So it's like double damage compared to the Spiral Volley. Plus it has, with this has stacking overlapping AoE, and then scaling AoE with Titan, because we can do all of this, we can do all of that, and there's some other AoE stuff in here as well. And it also is area damage, which this is an AoE, has an AoE tag, and it's an attack, and also lightning, so we can grab the lightning stuff here, the lucky lightning, and also a lot of attack speed. And I think that could be really, really fun, and really, really powerful. Also probably better single target, because you could just go stack a bunch of these on a boss and keep it exploding. Also, this thing has a crazy chance to shock, like just a crazy chance to shock, which then works really, really well with Herald of Thunder as well. And of course, shock is very powerful damage modifier, so I think that could be really, really fun build, and I might try that next. I do actually have to earn some gold. I have burned through several million gold just respecking and trying different builds, but I mean, that is the fun. I really enjoy that, and to be honest, that's currently what is really great about PoE 2 compared to PoE 1. That in PoE 1, I think demands for a build are a lot stricter than currently in PoE 2. There's not as much mechanics, and there's not as much stacking buffs and stacking different effects to reach that certain level of power that you need in the end game and so on. And I think PoE 2 currently, especially if you're focusing on just mapping and not really bossing and all of that, not doing the in-game content non-stop, like this kind of builds that I've been playing, I think to reach the level of usability is currently way easier. So it's and also the easiness to respec with the gold also. Just let me try this skill. No, it doesn't work. Maybe try this one. This works better, and just switching around things. And it's just so much fun. So I'll probably respec this character, because I mean all the gear pretty much doesn't need to change. I mean, we can drop the boots, we can drop the rings, we can drop the amulet, which frees up a lot of slots for us to get more. I mean, I don't know what get stuff in them. We can maybe get rid of the chest piece and get the resistance in the other gear and get some better chest piece. Like that opens up my gearing also way better in this one. But I think that could be really fun. So I'm gonna try that probably next. I also have some really good jewels for lightning damage. And we don't need to convert to the cold. I mean, that's still an option. We could still convert to cold as well, if you want the Herald of Ice explosion. So that sounds like a fun thing to try. I kind of want to see, because the default explosive radius for this is 2.2 meters, which actually is pretty decent. It's same as Herald of Ice by default, and with AoE, the Herald of Ice gets really big. So having that kind of a lightning explosions with the Stormcaller could be really, really fun. But yeah, thank you for watching my ramblings of this build again, and we'll try out some other ramblings. I kind of hope they do add some more content soon. I am really, really wanting druids and spears. I want spears. I love spears in video games, and they're very underrepresented. And having Huntress with spears it's gonna be so much fun times. And I want Templar, and I want more stuff. I want to try out and play with new things. Also, I want the dominance of the energy shield to be removed. Not removed. I want the other defensive mechanics to be put on the same level of survivability. So that we can do other things than just energy shield this, energy shield that, energy shield here and there. Like every build... Well, not every build. A lot of builds in general. Unless you're doing some weird gemling life stacking or a blood mage. Although the blood mage still has like a 10,000 energy shield on top of the 7,000 life they have. But like armor evasion without energy shield or any of that combination needs help. And just pumping up, like armor is a very big problem currently. But just pumping up the armor to be better is still not going to fix the problem. Because you still have a low life. Like you have 2,000 maybe something life with 2,500-ish. Even with good life gear on every slot. Because there's just no scaling for it. And I even have the plus 15% more from a Titan. So I actually have some extra life. Without that, my life would be very pitiful. And... evasion is great until it doesn't work, and then you get hit. And with low HP pool, that hits you, you will die. Unless you have energy shield to go with it, as I do have now. And then, if you're doing armor, sure, you block the small hits, but when a big hit hits you, you die. Because you don't have health. And combination of armor and evasion is also nice, until you get hit. And then you die. But I actually really like the combination of armor and evasion, because you avoid a lot of the stuff, especially if you can also do the acrobatics on it, so you can avoid AoEs. And then you reduce the damage with armor. So a lot of the random small hits that hit you over the course of running around don't feel that bad. But when a big hit hits or big AoE hits or something like that, you just die. Because you don't have the HP to tank it in any way. Or any kind of reduction on it or anything like that. There's no fortifies, no nothing. So having that extra... Still having like 2,000 life and then having 3,000 to 5,000 or more... energy shield, and also if you can get this mind over matter like I had in my Titan Living Bomb build where I had 2,000 life, like what was like 4,000 energy shield, Grim Feast, and then all of my 3,000 something mana, because the Living Bomb doesn't use mana, was purely just scaling damage with Archmage and purely for mind over matter, just extra HP basically. It makes you very tanky. And there's nothing like that on this side of the tree. Because you just don't have the extra HP. You just have some evasion and migitation, but not the actual HP. And once the hit gets to the HP portion of your thing, you die. Unlike on top of the tree. So that needs some help. But anyway, some ramblings again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. We'll probably be taking a look at the Stormcaller arrow on the Titan as my next thing to fiddle with. I'm worried about the mana with this. Mana is a massive problem with this build also as well, because level 27, and I would like that higher. We could easily get another 4, well, not easily, but we could get another +4 levels at least. And the mana cost just scales to the moon, which is why I have to have the reduced mana cost here, and all of that, just to try to deal with the mana cost. But I think there is going to be a point where it just becomes impossible. And finally, I have seen some very top-end builds which just use basically the bow shot because yeah, your basic attack or a living bomb, I guess, because you just can't cope anymore with the cost of mana, or you have to convert a big portion of it into life and then life regen. Like it gets silly. I think the whole level stacking thing is something they hopefully adjust as the game progresses. It feels kind of weird having that many plus levels on gear and so easily available in such a quantity that you can get level 40 skills that are literally impossible to use because the mana cost. But also the damage is just so ridiculous from gaining those levels that you'd want to have those levels. I think all of that requires some rethinking. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.